Good morning, everyone. Hope things are well. If you haven't woken up yet, the transfer news will certainly do that job for you because my word, over the past 24 hours, it has been quite exciting to be a Newcastle fan. We are here to get through it all in this video. Just a disclaimer, we are currently recording this video on the Saturday night. I'm doing a half marathon this morning, so I'm going to be quite busy during the day. If, however, there was breaking news with Newcastle where there's an agreed fee and it looks like someone is about to sign for the football club, there will be a double upload on the channel today, but I am personally not banking on that happening. So just to give you a heads up, potential double upload, but if not, you're stuck with this one today. But don't worry, because we've got so much to get into and we're going to start off with pre-season. Newcastle has already played their first match of the pre-season, beating Carlisle 4-0 behind closed doors at the training ground. Now, first off, Newcastle's done well keeping that one quiet, because I remember a couple of years ago, the Gateshead behind closed doors game was leaked. I went there was hundreds of Newcastle fans just going there and watching the game through the fence. So they've certainly done well this time, making sure it was not leaked out there. As for goal score-wise, Joe Linton, Jacob Murphy, Sean Longstaff and Ben Parkinson scored the goals. And when you look at the lineups in both halves, some interesting parts, a lot of youth players getting the opportunity to play for Eddie Howe. Of course, our international stars are still out having their breaks, so it's a chance for youth players that want to be part of our Asia tour and also the match at Celtic next week. There's your chance, go out there and see what you can do, and it's good to see a lot of them get the opportunity to do so. Sean Longstaff still getting the game time and being able to score a goal as well, so he's not quite as close as being done as it was suggested a couple of weeks ago. Still a case when Newcastle is waiting to bring a midfielder in before potentially letting him go. And finally, Anthony Elanga did not play in the game. He was watching the match at the training ground, but Newcastle has decided not to play him in the game. My personal opinion is that tomorrow on Monday is when Anthony Elanga will start to train with the team. So they'll be training them, getting them ready to go. And I feel like Celtic next week, 10,000 Newcastle fans in that away end, is when Elanga will make his debut. Can't wait for that. But yeah, he did not play against Carlisle, and it looks like Newcastle will be saving him for next week. As for me, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. We are less than 100 away from 59,000, so please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. 55% of you watching this video have not done that, so make sure if you want to stay updated with the Newcastle transfer news and all the content that will be coming out on this channel, make sure to do that. It's going to be incredibly busy. This is my last weekend break, so I'm going to enjoy it while I can, because every weekend from here on out is going to be non-stop in Newcastle United, so I can't wait. Break's over. Let's get back into pre-season. Starting off with a report from Luke Edwards. So he claims that Newcastle is going for an ambitious move. Hugo Ekitike, top of the range, top of the list. This is a player, by the way, with an £86 million release clause from Frankfurt. We knew from 3 years ago that this was a player Newcastle wanted. At the time, close, but just did not happen. Went to PSG, of course, then went to Frankfurt. And as for strikers in world football, believe it or not, according to Transfer Market, Ekitike is actually the 6th most expensive striker in world football based on value. And this is not the stupid Nico Jackson 100 million value. This is actual value based on the player's ability. Now, Ekitike is 6th, Isak's 3rd. So if we sign Ekitike, you've got effectively 2 of the 6 world best strikers, which is just sounds too good to be true. And that's my honest opinion about this transfer before we even looked into it properly. Isak, Ekitike. Imagine that, by the way, in a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1. Then he got Gordon, Elanga, Bruno Tonali, Hall, Livramento, Scalvini, Botman, Trafford. Imagine that starting 11. Hell, the Carabao Cup there, you might as well not even run the competition this season. You might as well just give Newcastle the trophy already. The Premier League title, the Champions League. That team is legitimately good enough to challenge. I'm not even joking. I never tend to be biased on Newcastle, but that starting 11 is mental. What an attack Ekitike and Isak will be alongside each other. But of course, would Eddie Howe do that? And would Newcastle do that? We still need to sign a goalkeeper, still need to sign a centre-half, still need to probably get a centre midfielder if Longstaff goes. So when you look at Ekitike, is he realistic? And of course, what would we then do going forward? Now, the reality is, and I don't want to come across as negative in this video, but one thing Newcastle has been incredibly well at doing since the takeover is keeping hold of our best players. If we sign Ekitike in this window, my opinion is next summer, Newcastle is preparing or making sure we have the cover available for a big sale to be made. And I actually think it's a smart move if Newcastle was to go all the way with it, because you have the protection there. If a player like an Isak goes next summer, it's not as big as a blow as it would normally be because you've already got a player there. And in a worst case scenario, let's say Isak does go next summer and you had Ekitike there, Isak, you're talking nearly £150 million in sales with already a world-class striker just there to be used. I mean, Newcastle's team would just be that good. Now, Liverpool, of course, the team that's linked to Isak. Ekitike would start for Liverpool. Never mind Isak, Tike, or second choice striker. Obviously, you would play him alongside Trey. Never ever going to be a number 2, but he would start for Liverpool. Never mind Isak. So when you look at transfer targets, in terms of ambition, my God, as ambitious as you could get, what a signing that would be, as good as it gets. Now, I just don't think Newcastle does it. I just don't think we do. I think it's too unrealistic. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this sign in particular is because, well, Fabrizio Romano's also quoted Ekitike. Craig Hope, an hour or so later, quoted Ekitike as well. And while Craig did not state that Ekitike was number 1, still did mention that he is on Newcastle's list. So it's a legitimate player Newcastle is potentially looking at bringing in this summer. What a deal that would be. Now, in terms of Craig Hope, he claims Wissa is the more close of the deal. And Wissa is a more realistic sign for Newcastle to make. But even then, you've got complications because, of course, if Brentford sells Wissa and Mbeumo in the same window, they're in serious trouble. Not to mention Brian Mbeumo has already told journalists that he wants to join Manchester United. So losing 2 key attacking players like that, I just don't think Brentford would sell both of them in the same window. So Newcastle would have to act first before Manchester United. And if we can secure that deal first, then Manchester United would have a real problem with getting in Bruno, and then Brentford have their own situation as well. So in terms of attacking players, the fact that it would be linked with these two and Ollie Watkins clearly shows that Newcastle is looking to bring in a serious option to replace Callum Wilson. I mean, let's be honest, it's not a Callum Wilson replacement at this point. Newcastle might go as far to completely change the formation. Maybe Eddie Howe just wants cover. If somehow it is Hugo Ekitike, bear in mind, he would be our most expensive signing ever. Surely he would cost more than £63 million to bring in. If Ekitike is somehow that signing, wow. The window does not get much bigger than that. That is a serious statement signing. And Newcastle next season, with both of them in the attack, that's a team that has a legitimate chance of challenging anyone. Even PSG's backline would be scared looking at that team. That attack would be ridiculously good. Walking away from this video, I reckon Newcastle does land a signing at some point this week. You got to remember, again, if they want to be out for a pre-season tour in Asia over the next 7 days, something has to give in Newcastle's favour. James Trafford's the most likely one. I've seen Keith Downey respond to fans on social media claiming that, of course, his striker's main priority for Newcastle, but he wouldn't be surprised if a deal like Trafford would be completed before that possibility. Again, that one seems the closest. Valuation difference, Newcastle still is going back in again for James Trafford. They're not done with Burnley. They want to get this deal done. It sounds like it's going to go Newcastle's way. So we'll see over the next few days how that goes. But Newcastle does need to sign our players first. I reckon Ekitike is quite a lot behind that transfer that would need to go our way. Just doesn't seem to be realistic at the minute. But of course, that may change in this window. Quality over quantity, I think, has always been a message at Newcastle. And especially when you look at our signings, again, we spoke well about Alanga yesterday, but just look how well he comes across in interviews. Look how good he looks on social media for us. Just look at how Newcastle's signings have been over the years. Our worst signings, you're talking probably, maybe Matt Target wasn't a great sign based on value, but even then, had a good loan move. Chris Wood, of course, didn't score many goals for Newcastle, but again, signed him at the time from a relegation rival in Burnley. He scored a couple of important goals for Newcastle and then was sought on for a similar amount. Vlak Medimos was a PSR sign, so I don't even count him. But when you look at the Eddie Howe signs and when you look at the PAF signings since the takeover occurred, all our signs have just been spot on. Quality over quantity every single time. And you just see the results in our team. How many players do we have now that are actual good players? We have so many good players. And once again, Newcastle just seem to be able to pluck out good talent. And I fully expect whoever we bring in this window, Eddie Howe and Newcastle would have picked out the correct characters, the correct sort of players. And I can't wait to see which ones are going to happen. News has just continued to be ambitious. I'm very pleased what Newcastle has been stated to be doing on social media. But again, actions speak louder than words. We will see over the next few days what bids are made. We will see over the next few days what deals get agreed and what deals could go Newcastle's way. Stay tuned. Let me know your opinions down below. I'm intrigued to hear what you think about Hugo Ekitike because I still think it's unrealistic at the minute. But the fact he's been quoted that much seems to be somewhat of a possibility. It does seem to be maybe potentially possible in this window. So yeah, let me know your opinion down below. I'm intrigued. I've seen very mixed reports on him. I do like him as a player. I know 3 years ago it didn't go so well with him, but I think it was probably more down to the age rather than the player. So I haven't took that too personally towards Ekitike as a player, but we'll see how that goes. In terms of ambition, though, it doesn't get any bigger than that. So let's see what happens. Take care, and we will see you all in the next one.